Welcome back to another episode of Minus Seven Sports, the new sports network. My name is Brandel Peters, the CEO and founder of Minus Seven Sports, and our guest today is a professional wrestling booker, writer, and former WCW World Heavyweight Champion. He is notable for his tenure with WWE, WCW, and TNA Wrestling. Everyone, the Minus Seven fan base, please welcome Vince Russo.
It's Brandel or Brandel?
Brandel, yeah.
Brandel, you know what's fascinating to me? I would say you just read a very impressive resume, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I've been in the business since 1991, so I got to do the math here. 25 plus 9 is 34 years.
34, yeah.
34 years. With that resume and 34 years in the business, somehow, some way, you still felt I was going to stiff you on this interview. Brother, can we talk about this for a second? And listen, this is on my time. This isn't even on your time. This is on my time.
Yeah.
Brandel.
Yeah.
Do you really think after 34 years and everything I've done, I'm going to stiff you on an interview to actually ruin my reputation in the wrestling business, my friend? Seriously? Brandel, seriously?
Hey, let me, I'll defend myself
Go
here.
ahead. The floor's yours, my friend. Go ahead.
I'll say this. In dealing with media personalities before, and I will admit you have been professional throughout this whole experience. Vince Russo has been professional, everyone, but in my personal experience, I have gotten gypped before. It hasn't been by anyone within the wrestling community, but within the just social media space, kind of like what it's evolved to now, it's become very toxic.
Bro, you're talking about jabronis in social media. I am a former world champion. Brandel, I am a former WC. I'm not going to stiff you out of a couple $100. Come on now.
You're right. That is on me.
Apologize to me right now.
I apologize,
okay.
Mr.
Bro, I swear to God, I was actually getting nervous because I didn't have the link. I was,
yeah.
I hope that that's why I kept emailing you, because I didn't want you to think I was stiffing you. I was just waiting for the link.
No, yeah. I after we talked about it, and I expressed just like concern. That's usually how I do it.
Just so you know, bro, never, ever in a million years would I ever do that. Never.
Yes, you have been a consistent professional throughout this experience, and I appreciate you for that.
And a world champion. Say that. Okay, say that. And a world champion.
And a world champion.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now I'm ready.
All right, so the first question. First of all, let's kind of run through the agenda. I want to break down a few moments throughout your career, give the people a little bit background of you. I feel like everyone already knows who you are pretty much, especially if they're watching this, but give them a few behind the scenes moments, talk about John Cena and some of what WWE and TKO is going through today. So without further ado, let's dive into our first question. Vince Russo, you've made fans question what's real and what's part of the show. When you're cooking up these unforgettable, jaw-dropping plot twists and characters and storylines, how do you know what is going to make the audience pop? And for non-wrestling fans who don't know what pop is, it's how do you know what's going to make the audience react?
Man, bro, that's a great question. And I'll tell you, I think it's really a combination of a couple of things, okay? I think, number one, it's a combination of years and years and years and years and years and years and years of watching television and movies. You know, when you watch good TV and when you watch good movies, bro, over, 60 years, you kind of figure out how to do it. That's number one. And bro, I would say number two, like, is really a gut feeling. Like you just know in your gut, because bro, when I wrote any show I wrote for every company, like when I'm writing the show in my head, as I'm on this keyboard writing this show, I know pop here, boo here. Like, I know exactly how the audience is going to react. And, I wrote accordingly. So, man, I think that's really twofold. A lot of it had to do with just watching great television and great movies over the years and just knowing the wrestling business and just having a gut feeling of when to do something.
Okay, cool. So here at Minus Seven Sports, I'll tell you a little bit about us. We like to incorporate. We're a network consistent of sports, technology, and predictions. And with that technology aspect, I'm an engineer myself. But within that technology space, we like to incorporate AI into our predictions. Do you foresee a future in pro wrestling where AI is part of creative and even storylines?
Bro, I swear to you, and I am not lying to you, Triple H is horrible creatively. And bro, I am not saying that as as a knock because bro, we all can't be good at everything. Honestly, like we've got our strengths and we've got our weaknesses. And okay, bro, Triple H was an 18-time world champion. Great freaking wrestler. I worked with the dude. That doesn't make him a great creative mind, and that doesn't make him a great writer. He's horrible, bro. When I say horrible, there are no storylines in the WWE. There are no characters in the WWE because the guy who's head of creative is not creative. So, bro, I swear to you, if I were Triple H, I would be using AI right now. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt. Bro, listen, I was just fooling around with GPT. Is it GPT?
Yeah,
I was
GPT.
fooling
Yeah,
around with it because EC3 was telling me about it, right? So, bro, I just said to it, give me a Vince Russo style wrestling TV show script.
yeah,
And bro, it spit out a format, and I was like, "Holy, like, bro, I would have thought I had written it. It was
really.
unbelievable." Now, bro, I could tell you, I swear, I'm working with JCW. I will never use A1 because I think that's kind of cheating. I would never do that. But man, if I were Triple H, I would be instituting that immediately
All right. Why would you never use AI?
because
Why do you why do
it's
you feel like it's cheating?
I want my ideas to be original. You know what I mean? I really want them to be original. Now, bro, don't get me wrong. I tell you what, I love AI because my fan base, bro, they sent me like all these unbelievable AI pictures and stuff, and I wind up using a lot of them. I love that. They crack me up. Me in concert with Tenacious D and like stuff. Me and Rihanna out on a date. Like I love it. I freaking love it. But I
I would
would
love to
never.
see that one.
Yeah, I would never ever use it to assist me creatively because I kind of would feel like that's cheating.
Cool. That's interesting. I would disagree with that. I think especially, and this is a hot topic, right, going on with the writer's strike, the Writers Guild, and I know some writers out there in Hollywood, and they have the same mindset as you. As like they'll never use it, but in my mind, I don't see a problem with it. I actually think AI is going to become a commodity just like electricity. You know, we all use electricity or we all use gas and heat, right, to cook. So if you use AI to help support your creative, I don't see that as cheating, but also I'm coming into things at a very different era. So
Well, bro, see, here's
yeah,
how I look at it. If I'm using AI and everybody has the ability to use AI, then we're kind of on the same playing field.
yeah,
You understand? Like nobody has the ability to be Vince Russo's mind. No, nobody can get in my mind. But if all of a sudden we're all using AI creatively, all of a sudden to me it's like an even playing field. And if I had any kind of an edge, I lose that edge. Now, like I said in Triple H's case, if you need that edge, without a shadow of a doubt. But man, if you don't need that edge, and I don't think, bro, I've been writing shows now for a very long time and I still don't feel the need. I never run out of stories and angles and ideas.
So, how do you? There are a couple things. I'll ask the Triple H question first, actually. Because I'm genuinely curious in what your thoughts are. SmackDown ratings just came in with under 1 million in viewership, um, and you're talking about Triple H as a creative. Do you think WWE can grow from here?
Bro, I got to tell you something. The only thing I see, the only thing I see is I am convinced by looking at the landscape and what's been going on for especially the last year and whatnot. I believe there is heat between Triple H and The Rock. I believe there are camps. I believe there are sides. I believe Rock is laying low in the weeds. And the only thing that will change the WWE is they need to change the old guard. As long as those guys are overseeing and involved in creative, nothing is ever going to change. Nothing.
Hmm.
Now I know Rock's got Brian Gerwertz. You know they work closely for years. And bro, think of the freaking Hollywood writers that The Rock knows. Think of The Rock's Rolodex. If he all of a sudden wanted to hire the best writers in Hollywood that he knew to turn wrestling upside down, I believe he could do it. But man, until you replace that old guard, it's going to be the same old, because that's all they know.
Yeah.
That's what they know, bro. So you're gonna get the same thing every week.
Yeah. I it's definitely felt like a power struggle when you watch the product. I wonder whose idea it was to have WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia.
That well, come on, bro. Listen. Since TKO took over, it's not about families anymore. It's not about manifesting, younger fans. Bro, it's all about the money grab. 1000% with
Yeah.
TKO. It's all about the money grab. And bro, that's why I firmly believe, Vince McMahon started that company. What is it, 14th and I or something like that? Bro, they're going to sell to the Saudis. There's no question about it. Vince McMahon is going to get that deal done. He's going to kind of like be the middleman. I think that's why he created that company. And then once the Saudis buy that company, Vince McMahon is going to be right back in the saddle again, running it for them. And bro, I believe that's coming quickly. I believe, bro, that could be here within the next 2 years.
Whoa, Vince McMahon running WWE again.
Absolutely. 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 If the Saudis bought it and Vince brokered the deal, he would be running that company from day one. Yeah.
And would they remain? I can't imagine they would remain publicly traded.
I doubt it. Once the Saudis are involved, bro,
Yeah.
like the people don't realize how much money they have. It's ridiculous how much money they have, and that's what I think TKO is doing right now. That's why I think the ticket prices have gone through the roof, because I think what they're really trying to do is, just beef up that bottom line, what that company is worth on paper, get that as high as they can, then present it to the Saudis. I really believe that's going to happen.
Wow. Well, breaking news, everyone. Vince Russo thinks that's gonna happen within 2 years.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm not gonna lie, with the positioning of Cody, um, especially within those Saudi Arabia shows, I can totally see what you're getting at. And really, if you really think about it too, like I think the market share in America is tapped as far as professional wrestling. It's you have WWE, you have TNA, NXT, AEW, JC. Like you have all of these promotions competing for attention, right? So I think the only next valuable area to expand, if you're WWE, if you're top of the food chain in that promotion, is internationally, and that's in Saudi Arabia, and it makes perfect sense. But let's get back to your creative process. How do you write a show, or how do you engineer a show? Since I think writers are engineers.
Yeah, bro, I got to tell you, man, if if you develop characters, I mean, and I'm talking about characters that have layers. And once you develop that character, you know what that character's thinking. You know how that what that character's feeling. You know how that character is going to act or react in every situation. If you have those types of characters, bro, I swear to you, the show writes itself. It
Wow.
really does write itself. As long as you have characters that you're treating like real people, that are going to react like real people, you go from one show to the next, and it is all based on logic, bro. It's just logic. It always comes down to what would happen if this were real. That's really what it comes down to when you're writing a show.
Okay. So, was there ever a storyline or wrestler that you believed in throughout your career or maybe now? Was there a storyline or wrestler that you believed in that did not translate and vice versa? Was there something that you didn't believe in that took off?
Say first of all, and it was not by choice, but when Goldust was in his prime and when he was a heel, I think he could have been huge. But WWE got a little scared because sponsors and advertisers really didn't understand the character at all. So because of that, we had to pull the plug. If we would have been able to present Goldust in the way we wanted to, I think he would have been over 10 times more than he is. And also, bro, another thing, like, I'll never forget, Vince McMahon actually pitched to me putting together Road Dogg and Billy Gunn as the New Age Outlaws. And I got to tell you, bro, I did not see it. I just didn't see it. That was Vince's baby. The New Age Outlaws was Vince's baby, and man, they really achieved the level of success that I did not see at the beginning.
So, what about when they incorporated in DX?
Yeah, no, that was more. I mean, that was more like I kind of wrote that in, but Vince McMahon, it was really his idea to take these two wrestlers who weren't really doing much and put them together. Then when we put them together, we gave it the time to see if they were going to get over or not. Then when they started getting over, then it was time to marry them to DX.
So, how do you know when to give something time and let it breathe and when to pull the plug?
Bro, first of all, you should not pull the trigger on anything unless you know it's going to work. So, bro, there are not many times where I pull the plug, really, because that would have been a failure on my part. If I wanted to create a character and go with a character and I pull the plug on it, I failed. Um, and when you go with somebody, bro, that's just following the ratings. Bro, we used to get minute by minute numbers. So we would see, if somebody was in the ring, we would see the audience grow. And really, bro, the ratings and the fans and the viewers, they really dictated who got more and who we eased off on. I went 100% by the numbers because, bro, outside of the numbers, everything else is an opinion. It's just a freaking opinion. Those are the only concrete facts that you have, and they tell you who's getting over and who's not getting over.
Wow, okay. That's interesting. So, this wouldn't be a Vince Russo interview if we didn't bring up the Attitude Era. Um, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. You mentioned just previously about the numbers. How were their numbers different? And what in your mind, what do you think made them main event talent and just guys like legends?
Yeah, bro, what's really going to make you main event talent at the end of the day? Bro, listen, I can be Shakespeare and write you the greatest dialogue and the greatest storylines. And bro, you got to go out there and do it. I mean, that's the bottom line. The performer has to go out there and do it. And that's really what it's about, bro. It's really about you give them the opportunity and you give them the tools, but then when they go out there, are they going to knock it out of the park, or are they just going to be another wrestler on the card? I mean, that's really, really what it comes down to. And without a shadow of a doubt, you're talking about two guys that knocked it out of the park. Whatever you gave them to go out and do, on the show, those guys knocked it out of the park. That's really how you become a star.
So, do you guys rehearse the promos? Because you talk about knocking it out of the park, and I see like a lot of these. Growing up, we all watched highlights of The Rock's promos, Austin 316. Do you guys rehearse the promos? How does that happen?
Bro,
Or how does that
not when I was there, man. When I was there, here was the conversation. I would give Austin like the bullet points, like this is the business we have to do in the promo. I'd give it to him, right? I'd check back a couple of hours later, and bro, this would basically be the conversation. You got this? Yes. Just remember to hit A, B, and C. That's it. I mean, that was really the conversation. And bro, somehow, some way, that turned into talent having to memorize scripts word by word when that's what it felt like. And it absolutely sucked. When I worked with talent, it was that simple. Now, bro, you had some talent that wanted you to work with them a little bit more, or you had some talents that really wanted you to write every word for them.
Mhm.
But the majority of them, you just said, bro, this is the business we need to do. These are the things you need to hit. Just go out there and do it. I mean, I myself, I mean, that's what, bro, I've never written a script for myself, ever. I just know the situation. I know where we're going. I get in the scene and I just go out there and perform. And that's how it was back during the Attitude Era.
So, why do you think that change? Why
Control,
do you
control.
control?
Absolutely, 1000% control. When it's all about control, man.
Man. So if they're controlling and they just see something and you talk about the minute by minute ratings and the numbers and listening to the fans in the crowd, I I, I it's I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just
Yeah,
I'm
bro,
I'm
like I said to you, if you follow that, it will write itself. I
yeah.
mean, it really will. Bro, never, bro, if I ever got writer's block, just say, for argument's sake, I'm sitting at this computer, holy shit, I don't know where to go. I swear to God, bro, here's all you got to think. If this were real, what would happen? That's all you got to think. Now, like I said, bro, if you've got defined characters, you could have the same situation. Rock is going to act differently. Triple H is going to act differently. Taker's going to act, when you
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
understanding the mind of the wrestlers, they're all going to act differently, and that's going to dictate the story. The problem is when you don't have characters and they're all wrestlers, then here's all you got is wrestling angles. Oh, I want that title and I'm better than you. That's all you have at the end of the day. When everybody is just a wrestler, that's all you have. And that's pretty much what you're seeing today.
Man. Okay. All right, so to dive deeper into your career, 34 career, as well as being a WCW World Heavyweight
Thank you.
Champion and a consistent professional throughout this
Thank you very
throughout
much.
this
Thank you. Yeah.
interviewing process, if you were to brag to me, what was one of your proudest moments in creative?
Bro, I swear, one of my proudest moments was really more personal than creative. And my
Let's hear it.
proudest moment, bro, like that I would take above everything else is being in a position where I was able and had some input into putting the WCW world title on Booker T. without a shadow of a doubt, bro, because this is a guy that deserved it, that everybody loved, that worked his ass off, that was never going to get to that level because of politics. Never,
Really?
ever was he good, because he was not a political guy at all. And for me to be able to come in and give somebody something that they worked for and deserved for so many years, knowing what the ramifications were going to be, bro, knowing that the old guard was going to bury me and try to get me fired and sue me, knowing all that was going to happen. It was all about doing the right thing. And bro, that without a doubt is my is the highlight of my career, having the ability to do that. You had your Hogans and you had, all those guys up top. Booker just showed up and did his job. He wasn't going to bury other people to get on top. He wasn't going to try to get in favor with other people. He just showed up every day like a blue collar worker, did his freaking job. But, bro, it's a chess game in wrestling, man. It's every man for themselves. And if you want to get to the top, you got to bury people. You got to politic. You got to stab people in the back. You got to know whose ass to kiss. It's a big game, bro. And Booker was never a part of that game.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So, with the minimum amount of, or the limited amount of time that we have here, let's get to what's currently going on in WWE, and that is John Cena's retirement tour. Did you ever imagine the Doctor of Thugonomics, Marky Mark gimmick with the Boston or the black scent that John Cena first came out with? Did you ever think that would get over and that would turn into John Cena?
Bro, I'll be honest with you, man. Two things. Number one, I was, for a cup of coffee, man, I was consulting for them in like 2002. Cena hadn't done anything yet. And I definitely saw something in Cena. As a matter of fact, you can go back to 2002, and I suggested something with like Cena getting in Vince McMahon's face when they were doing nothing with John Cena. Now, bro, I'll be honest with you. Right after that, I went and worked full-time in TNA. I did not see any of Cena's stuff. I wasn't watching the WWE when I was working at TNA. I was too busy working at TNA. But, bro, that whole run, Thugonomics and all that stuff, I never saw any of that stuff. So, man, I really didn't see Cena till maybe the last 10 years. He's the one guy that I wished I could have worked with. I never worked with the dude. I never met the dude. But my God, he is a pro's pro. And that is the one freaking guy. Bro, the two guys I'd say I would have gave anything to work with were, Cena and Bray Wyatt. I mean, Bray Wyatt was a freaking genius. They had no idea how to write for him because he was so far above their level. I really wish out of everybody that I could have written for those two guys.
What about Bray Wyatt's creative kind of struck you?
Oh my God, bro! Just you could tell just by his promos. First of all, nobody was writing those promos for him. Just listen to every other promo on the show and then listen to him. Nobody was writing those promos for him. But bro, that's the kiss of death. The kiss of death is when you are better than the people who are writing for you. That is the kiss of death. Because there is a level of insecurity. And here's what happens, bro. What people don't understand is, I get this all the time. Oh, Vince, you had it easy. Look at the roster. Look at the people you were writing for. Yes, bro, exactly. I was writing for great performers, and I had to keep them at that level. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you know how challenging that is? You can't hand The Rock a shitty script. You can't. That is so difficult, bro. That's like working with, De Niro and Pesci and Pacino. That is so hard to maintain that. Yep. The problem is, right, bro, because here's what happens. You got Bray Wyatt up here. You've got WWE writers down here. They don't have the ability to write up to his level. So what they do, bro, is they bring him down. Now, all of a sudden, Bray Wyatt is like every other wrestler on the show because they don't have the ability and the creativity to write up to his level. And, bro, that happened to Bray like 2 or 3 times in the WWE.
Yeah, I wish I was still in tune with the WWE product when Bray was going on. I've heard nothing but great things, and then I came back during like the whole Bloodline situation, and then I caught the tail end of Bray Wyatt getting the rub from the Undertaker and his LA Knight, his LA Knight storyline, and then he unfortunately and tragically passed away.
Yeah.
But
I was
um,
lucky enough, bro. Like in this, I mean, this meant the world to me. I was really blessed, bro, to exchange like a couple of DMs with him. And I reached out to him just to let him know just how freaking brilliant, absolutely brilliant I thought he was. So, I mean, I'm glad I had that experience. I never got to work with him, but we did have a little, exchange. God, the stuff I could have done with that guy would have been unbelievable. And I would have worked with him. We would have worked together. Bray, what do you want to do? And then, like, as the writer, it's my job to make it work and make sure everything makes sense. But man, to have had the opportunity to have just gotten into his head, bro, I would have given anything for that.
yeah, rest in
Yeah.
peace, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
So speaking of creative, and you're talking about the control and writing up and down to the talent. What about this Cena retirement run have you enjoyed, and what have you hated?
Bro, it sucked. There's nothing to enjoy. But bro, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna lay this out for you. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, and then I'm gonna tell you where they effed up. Okay, bro. When you watch that Unreal series on Netflix, okay, there was a point where everybody was on the same page. There was a point. You saw it in that show when Triple H and Rock are going over the promo where Rock is doing this, everybody was on the same page. Then, bro, behind the scenes, creatively, something drastically went wrong. And I'll tell you where I think things drastically went wrong. I think Rock wanted to do things a certain way. Now, you got to back it up a year. You got to back it up a year when Rock wanted to face Cody at WrestleMania. But then the freaking internet started crying. No, Rock
Yeah,
wanted to face Reigns, I think.
Roman,
Reigns.
Roman.
Then the
Yep.
internet started crying and they gave into it and they gave him Cody. Now, you got to understand, it was Rock who wanted to go to Rock and Roman. And at that point, Rock said, okay, whatever. I'm not going to die on this hill. Well, then you come back next year and it's the Cena turn. And bro, I think what happened was Rock wanted to go a certain way. And I think they poo-pooed Rock again. And I think at that point, Rock checked out and said, you know what, bro? This is the second year in a row now. I gave you advice. Go do what you want to do and die on the vine yourselves. I really feel that's what happened. But here's the problem, bro, because this happens all the time in wrestling when you're a writer. So that was plan A. When Rock bails, now plan A is dead. But bro, now you got to be able to pivot. Now you got to go to plan B. Bro, there was never a plan B. That's on them. So,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, okay, bro, Rock bailed. This ain't going to work. How do we make sense of this and how do we go forward? A horror show from that point on. An absolute horror show. And again, bro, like I told you earlier in the interview, that all goes back to their lack of creative. You've got to have a plan B in wrestling, bro. People are going to get hurt. People are going to walk out. People are going to get suspended. Contracts are going to expire. You've got to have a plan B. They had no plan B, bro, and it's crystal clear to everybody watching this.
Yeah, I that was it was literally like a major disconnect. Travis Scott didn't show up like after WrestleMania. Even WrestleMania was weird with John Cena
Very
and
weird.
Cody.
Yeah.
Like Travis walked down the ramp for 40 seconds to a minute. It was such a weird vibe watching it, and for people who understand, like, there's creative and there's behind the scenes, that's one of the moments where I was like, there's something going on here,
Well,
and they
yeah,
don't.
and bro, here's the thing, man. Freaking Cena gave them a year's notice. A
Yeah,
year's notice, bro. They had a year to plot that whole thing out. And when that stuff went down with Rock, okay, bro, shit's gonna happen. I understand that. But you gotta pivot now, man. And okay, what are we going to do now? And bro, the first pivot was he cut a promo going from heel to babyface that made absolutely no sense. Bro, you can't do things that way, man. You just can't.
yeah. He's lucky he's John Cena, and he kind of
You're
made
right.
it work for
You're
what it
absolutely
is.
right.
But
1000%. I agree. Yeah.
so if WWE called you
Never
tomorrow,
happened, bro. Never happened. Bro, I swear to God. Bro, they could offer me millions of dollars. They could offer me, because here's what we spoke about earlier, bro. If you ever put Vince Russo in that system, bro, you're not going to control me. I'm not a
yeah,
robot. I'm not one of your NXT kids. I'm not 20 something years old. I'm not going to fall in line. You're not going to control me. And that's what they want. So, bro, that's why, like, I would never, for all the money in the world, ever put myself in that situation, because I would know that's what they would want to do. And I'm a creative guy, bro. It ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna kiss your ass. I'm not gonna kowtow. I'm not gonna fall in line. If you pitch something that I think sucks, I'm gonna tell you it sucks. And bro, that would be the world's biggest freaking nightmare, bro. When I write, you've got to set the table. When you know you're going to do something, bro, you've got to set the table for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And but now, whatever, bro. Dominic against John Cena. Okay, bro, that's the best you could do, bro. This thing had to be plotted out. They should have had, bro. I'll never forget this. When Austin became the WWE champion, Vince McMahon pulled me aside and said, Vince, from here on forward, you are connected to Steve's hip. I don't care about anybody else. He's the guy. And that's what they should have done with this Cena run. They should have had one guy. You are working with John. See what John wants to do. Figure this out. Get in his head. They should have had somebody attached with him for the entire year. Because, bro, this is I don't want to say once in a lifetime wrestler, but this
right.
is a special, special guy, legend. He deserved that. And I mean, my God, bro, when you're at Madison Square Garden and he only has 2 matches left, and you freaking put the guy in a 6-man, he's an afterthought now, bro. He literally is an after. How does John Cena become an afterthought? Every freaking one of these shows should have revolved around John Cena.
Yeah,
And you put the guy in a 6-man? Come on, bro. And that's my problem, bro, because everybody responsible for that should be fired. Everybody. But I swear to God, bro, WWE, nobody is ever held responsible for anything. You said early on in the show they went under 1 million viewers. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing
yeah.
happened, bro. Nobody's held accountable. Nobody's responsible. So what's going to happen when we go below 800,000? Nothing. It's unbelievable to me, bro. It's the only freaking business in the world where you're not held accountable. And if you don't do your job, you're freaking out of here. It's unbelievable to me.
Okay, so if we're far too late and far beyond Cena's WWE run, let's talk about Cena's Hollywood run. With your experience within wrestling, characters and storylines, and your prior experience within video stores and on air radio, what advice would you give Cena as he ushers into full time Hollywood after The Rock did what he did?
I think it would be important for Cena to be multi-dimensional. You know what I mean? I mean, bro, I've seen Cena in a lot of comedies and he's good. I mean, he's funny. But then I'm like, okay, we know he could do comedy. We know he can do action. Can he do drama? I mean, that's the thing. Can he really, really act? If you put him in a dramatic role, can he pull that off? And I think that's what's happening with The Rock now. I think, Rock did all those action movies and they were great, touched on comedy a little bit, but I think Rock is at the point in his career where, now he wants to be in more serious films. And that's what I would tell Cena, because here's what you're up against, bro. If you're a wrestler going into Hollywood, bro, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to make them take you seriously. Because, bro, I'm telling you, I dabbled in Hollywood, and those people look down their nose at professional wrestling. It's a joke, it's a cartoon, it's guys in underwear beating each other with chairs. So you've really got to prove yourself as an actor. Batista has proved himself. Bro,
Yeah.
that's why when somebody gets into Hollywood, that's the reason why they try to separate from wrestling, because they know wrestling is frowned upon. So if I was Cena, man, I would just round out my game, man, and try to get some, dramatic, serious roles now, just to show people, man, this guy isn't just comedy. He just isn't action. This guy can really act.
Okay. Who do you think is the best actor of the wrestlers that migrated into Hollywood?
God, bro, believe it or not, I would probably say Batista. I think because Batista has done some of those dramatic roles a little bit, and I would say, man, from what I've seen, I really think he's the best.
Okay. So Vince Russo, as Cena likes to say, he likes to give opportunity to newer talent coming up, so on and so forth, blah blah. Uh, he stood in the ring for a few minutes in Boston, which I was there. I was at the Boston show.
Oh, cool, cool.
And talking about the NXT guys and how that will be his like format of his last show. Who do you think is the next main event superstar that WWE should go all in on?
Well, bro, again, man, it's like, bro, I don't, bro. Let me tell you something. When you watch that show,
Yeah.
and you sit there and you say, bro, why aren't they doing so and so with so and so? Why are they releasing Karrion Kross? Like when you start seeing stuff like that, bro, that's when you know that's 1,000% politics.
Yeah.
Bro, when you've got a package of Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and bro, let me say this about Scarlett. This is a beautiful woman. I'm not talking hot. This is a movie star looking. This is Sable-esque. When you've got this couple that like dollar signs all over them, and the contract is not renewed, bro, it's one of two things. Number one, it's either politics, or number two, the people who are in charge of their careers are incompetent, so they need to go. It's one of those two things. So the guy I look at, bro, and let me tell you something.
Yeah.
He's going to become a huge movie star. And then you're going to look back on his WWE career and you're going to say, are you freaking kidding me? Bro, the fact that Drew McIntyre like isn't at the top, are you kidding me? Like, bro, when I talk about,
Crazy.
bro, tattoo dollar signs all over this freaking guy. Look at the way they book this guy. Bro, people need to be fired. But now they're redoing that Highlander franchise. Drew McIntyre is now going to make himself a star as he gets. And Cross is going to do the same thing, bro. You're going to see Cross in movies. God, bro, when you've got that kind of talent and your career is in the hands of a Triple H, get the frick out of Dodge, bro. That's all I could tell you. Get out of Dodge, man, because what's going to happen to you is what happened to Cross, and it's what happened to Drew McIntyre. God, bro, how do you not get those guys over, man?
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, things take some time to
Bro,
kind of
it's not,
figure itself out.
it's
But
not that. Let me tell you what it is. I swear to God, bro, as sad as this sounds, I swear to God, this is what it is. And this is what it has to be because, bro, if this is not what it is, then everybody's incompetent. And I don't want to believe they're incompetent. I swear to God, I don't want to believe Triple H in the position he's in is incompetent. I don't want to believe that. Here's what it is, bro. This is why you cannot have wrestlers in those types of positions. Triple H still has the mentality of a wrestler. And bro, when Triple H sees somebody come along that has the potential to be better than he was, he's going to chop them off at the knees, bro. And that's why you can never have a wrestler, a former wrestler, be in charge of creative that is going to have a bearing on other wrestlers. Bro, I'm telling you, that's what happened with Cross. That's what happened with Drew McIntyre. Bro, I went through this so many times in my career. Bro, Jeff Jarrett was one of my better friends in the business, but I went through a period where Jeff was head of creative. It doesn't work, bro, because there's baggage there. They worked with a lot of these wrestlers. So some of the wrestlers are their favorites. Some of their wrestlers they have heat with. That's going to affect the way they book them. And that's why it's a kiss of death to have a former wrestler in that spot. It happens every time. It happened with Dusty. It happened with Ric Flair. It happened with Jeff Jarrett. And it's happening with Triple H.
and so that's why you think nothing will change until they move in a completely different guard.
Absolutely, 1000%, bro, because that's all they know. Every time, bro, they don't know what to do, they go back to wrestling because that's all they know. And when you go back to wrestling, you keep going backwards. You can't evolve and you can't go forward.
Well, speaking of going forward, Vince Russo, would you like to talk a little bit about JCW and what you're doing there?
Yeah, listen, man. I really did not want to get back into wrestling. I mean, for various reasons. Number one, above everything else, is just like I said, the politics involved. Bro, I'm too old. I'm not going to get involved in politics. For all the money in the world, I'm not going to do that to myself. And number two, just the travel, bro. Just getting on a plane and like doing all that stuff. Like, I'm so over that. However, I got a, great friend of mine. He's known in the wrestling business too. Sean Oliver, he's the co-host to Kevin's podcast. He's written 10 books. He had kayfabe commentaries. Well, I was friends with Sean. Sean had written ICP's book. So Sean is very, very good friends with Violent J. I worked with Violent J back at WCW and WWE back in the day. And Sean was trying to connect the two of us. And, my conversations with Violent J, bro, was he was a sweetheart of a guy, but I was still really reluctant to get back in. But then, bro, they had two shows in Denver. I live in Colorado. So they had 2 shows in Denver. So I'm like, bro, it's right in my backyard. Let me just give it a shot. You know what I mean? So I went to the 2 shows in Denver. And then after those 2 shows, I went to Wichita and Columbus. I think Columbus, Ohio. I went there. So I did 4 shows in a row with them. And bro, I had the time of my life. And I'll tell you why. It's everything I'm talking about. Bro, Violent J created ICP in 1989. He created Juggalo Championship Wrestling in 1999. This is a creative guy. This is a creative genius. This is not a political guy, bro. He's not a guy that needs to have all this power and people. This is a creative guy. And just getting to work with somebody like that I'm creative, he's creative, we're not political, we're not interested in power. And it's just, so far, bro, the relationship with him has been great. And I've been having a really, really good time. And as long as that remains the case, we'll go forward. I gotta go tomorrow. There's a big show in Detroit that I wrote. I'll be a part of. And as long as I'm having fun, bro, I'm gonna do it. When you
Right.
get my age, you don't do anything that's not fun anymore, bro. So as long as it's fun, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Right. Where can people watch the JCW?
Yeah, guys, every Thursday night on YouTube, there's a new show, 7 o'clock Eastern. We had one last night. Every Thursday night, just go to JCW Lunacy. That's the name of the show, JCW Lunacy. Right now, the last 3 shows I wrote. So if you want to go back that far, I wrote the last 3 shows. But yeah, bro, if you want to get back to the Attitude Era, like if that's the style of wrestling that you enjoyed, that's what this is going to be, bro. It's going to be characters. It's going to be storylines, swerves, curves, unpredictability. And we're getting back to what the casual wrestling fans really, really want.
Wow. Vince Russo, thank you so much for your time today. You've been a class act again. Sorry, I apologize for
That's
thinking
okay.
you would
Hey, bro,
stiff me.
I want to ask you a couple questions. Hold on,
Yeah, yeah,
not so quick. I am a
yeah.
huge baseball mark. I did a baseball mark
Okay.
my whole life, and you said you played baseball.
Yep.
So you played baseball in college?
Yes. Me and some of the other -17 members played D2 baseball together. Yeah.
So what position did you play?
Center field and left field.
Really?
Yeah.
What school did you go to?
Pfeiffer University.
Where is that?
It's like 20 minutes outside of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we played in the Conference Carolinas. It was rated probably I think top 3 conferences on the East for D2 baseball. It was a grind. We had number 1 Mount Olive in our conference. We had Belmont Abbey, Catawba. Those 3 teams are always pretty tough teams, and they're always competing for a national championship in D2.
So how good were you?
I was pretty good. It took me once I went to college. It took me a few years to get into kind of like to grow into myself.
Yeah.
Especially being in a completely new town area. I didn't do too well my first couple of years, but I figured out myself as a player. I figured out my swing, my body, my junior and senior year, and I think my career stats were like 270, but I was mainly a speedy guy, steal bases, get on base.
Yeah. So when college ended, do you not play anymore?
No, no, I gave
You got to miss it though, no, bro?
no. Okay,
Really?
I'll tell you this. I gave it my all, and there are a lot of stories and moments where baseball broke my heart. Baseball was definitely my first love. Whether um, dealing with coaches, dealing with recruiting, dealing with playing time, things like that. Baseball, it broke my heart. So once I gave it my all, and once it was over with, I didn't shed any tears. I didn't turn back around. I wanted to get away from it for a little while in order to miss it, and then like then I can come back into the like adult league softball or like throwing around the baseball with my dad or my
Yeah.
little nephews. But
Bro,
yeah,
that's funny because I swear, bro, that's how I am with wrestling.
yeah,
There was a time, bro, where bro, I would never consider myself a wrestling mark. When I was growing up, bro, I didn't eat, sleep, drink professional. I enjoyed wrestling like I enjoyed baseball, like I
right,
enjoyed television. I enjoyed it. I knew what it was. It was a great form of entertainment, and so I was a wrestling fan. But bro, like I'm kind of like you, man. Once I got into it and you really see the people and the
yeah,
politics and you really see that side, bro, I would say, bro, to be honest with you, when I went over to WCW in 1999, bro, that's when it became a job. That's when it became a job. I will say my 5 years at the WWE, I really enjoyed it. I really loved what I was doing. But once I went to WCW and then TNA and all that stuff, it just became a job. And I'm just like you, man. I used to really, really just love the business and I was a fan of it. But
yeah.
once I got involved, bro, I'm like you. But see, you're lucky, bro, because what happened to me was I was in the business for so long and I had so many years of experience that when I got out of the business, I was older. So
Yeah,
I'm not just going
yeah,
to get a job anywhere. Like, this is what I know. So, bro, like, I had to continue to do it just to earn a living. At least you, I mean, smart enough to separate yourself from it. Now you've got this career going, which is good for you. And that's
thank
very,
you.
very smart, man. Are you, though, a big baseball fan?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who's your team?
I don't. Whoever I bet on.
You do the DraftKings, you're a big bro. Let me ask you about this. And now I'm gonna start charging you for this interview, bro. You listen, but listen, you don't have to pay me up front because I trust you, bro. Let me ask you this. You're a betting guy,
Yep,
right? Bro,
yep.
how do you feel with all these stories now coming out about games being fixed? And I mean, when you lay down a bet, like, isn't that in the back of your mind that, you know what, bro, I'm not going to win this bet? Like, how does that affect your betting?
So let me revisit the betting guy kind of stereotype. I don't think I'm a betting guy. I think I'm a more financial markets guy. I love investing, trading, options, futures, crypto, equities, bonds, all of that stuff. But betting is kind of part of that, especially with Robinhood, the platform that a lot of people use. Sports predictions just got incorporated into Robinhood. And so the gambler and the investor have kind of become synonymous with each other, right? Especially in my age group and my demographics. Uh, that's really how I look at it. I don't really gamble on the day to day kind of things. But one of the people I look up to is Paul Tudor Jones, and he famously said in his documentary, he's looking to make $80 for every $1 that he risks, and you can't really find those odds in a day to day market, but you can find those odds in the futures market. So like for instance, Miami to win the national championship. I'm a big Miami college football fan, so they're 75 to 1 to win the national championship. So that's something that's like a example of what I would take and put some money on.
Interesting. Yeah, I find myself, bro, over the years, like, I'm still a baseball guy, but bro, like, over the years, like, I really lost interest in the other sports. So like I'll bet on a game just to be into the game. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
if I don't have some skin in the game, I got no interest in watching the game. So like that's the only reason. But man, it seems like you got it all figured out. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Man, that's awesome, man. Good for you, man. You got it all
Thank
figured
you.
out. You're a smart kid, man. I wish you the best of luck in everything that you do, man.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. And again, sorry, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Just getting a little chuckle saying, "Bro, like, do you really think I'm gonna sacrifice?" I would never, ever, ever, ever do that, bro.